have made it to the top in Indian media and entertainment HR industry. Over to Ms. Tata and Mr. Wanvari. Thank you.
Thanks, Megha. You've been pole vaulted into a role which men have occupied before in Discovery. How does it feel?
Awesome. I'm extremely privileged and humbled to be given this opportunity. But I do want to put it on record that I believe that I was hired because I was right for the role and I just happened to be a woman.
Fantastic. I expect that response from you. Normally there are stereotypes. I don't see too many women leading media organizations. There was Ravina Rajkoli. We've had, trying to remember, we have in the media, we have Lara Natsara who's running an organization. We've got, women leading organizations are far and few between.
You're absolutely right, Anil. In fact, before I really go further, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you and IndianTelevision.com for creating a forum like this. And I don't know whether there's ever been a forum which is specifically for media from an HR point of view. And I think that is definitely the need of the hour. In fact, we're pretty late in the hour to do this, to be honest, because that's been one of my bone of contention in the industry, that I think there are a lot of women in the media industry. And when I say media, I say specifically more broadcasting, because that's where my expertise lies. There are a lot of women in the media industry, and there are a lot of vertical heads in the media industry, broadcasting as well. But as you rightly pointed out, there are few and far between. I can't think of actually anybody at a CXO level who's really led a television network.
Just Ravina.
Ravina did, yes, yeah.
Channel 9.
Yeah. So, like I said, few and far between. And there may be a couple of others as well. And that's an issue, I think. What is the reason why it hasn't happened? I don't think so. There's one story which can sort of give the answer. There could be multiple reasons. It could be, and that's not something I'm actually either an expert or equipped to respond, but my view to that would be that it's a combination of various things. I think it's also to do with the fact that there have been, the ecosystem in the organizations may not have been supportive of women growing. But when you look at the alternative industry like the finance and banking industry,
there are many CEOs.
There's so many women in there. And in my view, it happened about 10, 15 years ago. I think the seed for that was set maybe even earlier than 15 years ago. And it really started with the senior management who were men, who created that environment to build women CXO level positions in the industry. And then you saw a whole range of women who emerged, because this is not an overnight thing which can happen. You have to build a system which creates an environment for women to grow into that role. And like I said, it's a combination. It's not only the ecosystem in the organization. Sometimes women also give up halfway through. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's not about right or wrong, but the fact is they do. And whether it's for family commitments or it is for, taking the back seat when there's a partner involved who probably has, when you have to lay the cards out and somebody needs to take a decision on who takes that role, or there's a change of a city or a country, invariably, again, I say invariably, not 100%, but because there are a few exceptions, invariably it's the man's decision will supersede the woman's decision. And lots of women then hence take the back seat, whether it is to take care of their family, children, and so on and so forth. So I think it's a combination of both, which has created an environment where you see hardly any women CXO level positions in broadcasting.
Yeah, now that you're a woman leading an organization like Discovery in India, is Discovery gender diverse enough? Not in stereotypical roles like programming, sales, because sales has to go out and meet clients. It has to be a woman. It is.
Really?
Go back in time. I've been
Yeah,
in this
and-
industry for too long.
None,
Too long.
No,
Yeah.
I completely disagree on that.
Okay.
I think
So
first
women are
let
leading
me.
programming roles. They have programming. They had programming. They had sales. Go back in Sony and see it. Yeah.
No, there are many sales heads in many broadcasting who have been men,
Sure.
you know. So it's I don't think so, and I don't want to get into names here. But you and I know the people we're talking about.
Sure.
They're mostly there are a whole lot of men out there, and similarly in content as well. So I don't think so. It's a women are stereotypically into content and
They're fitted
marketing and
into those roles
not according to me.
Okay,
I'm
all
sorry.
right. I'm glad you disagree.
Yeah,
I'm
I
happy.
I don't agree. I think women have been, and in the last, I think I've been in the media industry for now almost 28 years, and I've seen the change which has happened when I was an executive to where I am today, and the way the women have grown in the in this industry, and they have grown in multiple departments. You know, you have legal heads who are women today.
Sure.
You have technical people who are in women. In my previous organization, we had the first ever female technical engineer. I was representing a news channel, and we were hired a first woman technical engineer. So there have been movements in that space. Having said that, I just think that there are more and more women who need to sort of go out there and really ask for what they deserve. And I think that's the combination, which is where we can sort of deep dive a bit more either here or later. But that's an area of improvement, both in women wanting to overcome that perception and really deliver on what they believe they can do it, and at the same time have a system within the organization.
But
to
where does
support
that
it.
begin? This begins at the educational level when they're in college, or does it begin with family support? Where does this deep, the desire to get what you deserve come from, or does it come from internally?
I think it's very deep rooted in our culture, and I don't think so. There is an immediate solve which can happen, which can create magic. But I see a positive trend for sure, even in, especially fundamentally, I think there are more women out there working. There are more women who are trying to create sort of an equal level level playing field with men as well, and I think it's a combination of home, family, culture, but I think that's a very large issue to address, and I'm not sure maybe this is the right forum, but if we sort of narrow down it to the corporate world. And then going back to your earlier question of at Discovery and whether we are diverse, and absolutely diverse,
Not stereotypical roles.
not
again.
stereotypical roles. And like I said, our legal head is a
Yeah, but that's
lady.
in most organizations. Going to Sony, going to Star, the legal head is a woman.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's legal. So what would be a stereotypical role? I think I think
You're
the fact
not
that
typical.
I
You're
am
not typical. You're not typical. So,
Yeah.
you had a previous head of India. He tried some innovation at Discovery, didn't work. He finally stepped down. You were stepping into the shoes of an individual. There were question marks about whether the strategy they undertook was right or not. So what made you take it up, knowing the fact that digitization is happening, Discovery is great in creating its app for India. Secondly, in terms of it's got competition coming in from Nat Geo and from other players in the industry. What made you decide to take up this job as a CEO? And what in you attracted Discovery?
All right. So for what excited me on this role was without doubt, the brand. Discovery is a brand I have grown up with, not only as a consumer but also in the industry. Discovery in India has been for 25 years, and I have spent about 28 years. So both Discovery and I have grown together. So I have a very fond connection and affinity to the brand. So an opportunity to work in an organization with brands like Discovery and Animal Planet and TLC and Discovery Kids, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, true.
That's like a dream job.
But remember, it's been slowing down. Discovery has not been growing as rapidly as it used to earlier. There are competitive elements. The digitization is changing the way people are watching content. Cable is getting disrupted. DTH is getting disrupted thanks to the new tariff order by the government.
Yeah.
So
That's life, right? You know, you have ups and downs, and pretty much in this life cycle of
it
everybody
didn't scare
in an
you to take up a
organization.
position here? It didn't scare you that
I'm sorry?
it didn't scare you that
Not
people
at
have failed
all.
in the past?
No, in fact, I'm a very glass half full person. For me, every challenge is an opportunity. And that's how I've seen this. You know, this is an opportunity. I think every discovery has gone through its ups and downs, in my view, more ups than downs. But we are at that stage where I see there is a huge opportunity of growth, and that's exactly what we're planning to do. So we're going to address all the points you highlighted, you know, whether it's digitization, whether it's the NTO impact, whether it is leadership being challenged, and growth on kids. These are different pegs we have identified as the key growth matrix for us and to grow that business. So we want to be the unparalleled leader we're already leaders. We just want to create that distance further in the real life entertainment space. We want to become the top three players of the kids space, which I think there's an opportunity to grow there, and Discovery Kids has done a fantastic job so far, and we will definitely take that further. And, we need to go where the audiences are going. And the audiences are moving into the digital space. So moving from a B2B business to a D2C business is definitely on the cards. And you will hear from us when we intend to launch the first real life entertainment OTT platform early next year.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Now, in terms of, now that you're a leader here, are there any changes you're bringing about in the way you lead the organization? Have you you're dealing directly with Perrette or with somebody else in APAC?
I report into Simon Robinson, who's the MD for Asia Pacific.
Okay.
He's also the international CFO. And of course, a JB as well. So,
are you bringing about any changes in the way the organization is being led?
So I think a couple of things. One, I have been fortunate and privileged to have inherited a fantastic leadership team. And we all know, and considering this is an HR summit, any organization is about the people, right? It's people who either make or break organizations. So I'm a big believer in that, and I'm a very people's person. My job is really to facilitate the thinking and to give them a direction and a vision to drive that. I have always believed to either be leading a team or hiring people who are brighter than you and smarter than you. They got to know more than you. That's the only way. Not only will you learn, but you will be able to direct the organization to growth. And in this milieu of stuff which is happening, with the changes happening, uncertainty, ambiguity, and the VUCA world we keep referring to, it is the young and the mobile and the agile in thinking and the entrepreneurship thinking, I think Jay was also alluding to, is what is needed in any organization. And that becomes, is my job to then make sure that you align the team, you lead the team, and get them to deliver the goals we are all signing up for. So you will see, I don't know what is a reference to take in terms of change. I think the change will come to be seen when you see the growth journey of Discovery going forward, and that will happen in the next 12 to 18 months.
Yes, the previous high dynamic leader of Discovery was Rahul, who had a sales background. You too have a sales background. Did that prove to be in your favor? And are you leading sales? Are you going to be also driving in that direction apart from general management?
No, we have a sales head,
Sure.
and of course, every business needs to make money. We are not in the business of charity. So yes, and we are a very profitable organization, and the idea is to grow that margins and grow the profitability, and more importantly, grow the top line. And that's something which I do intend to work along with the leadership team to drive. Whether sales really is something. I guess whether the question is whether they saw the benefit of being a salesperson to lead this organization. I don't know whether that's a question I am equipped to answer. I think that's something maybe.
What did they see in you when they hired you? Let's take a.
I don't know what they saw in me, but let me, even if I'm saying so, let me attempt that. I think they saw in me that I brought in a lot of credible experience from broadcasting industry, you know, which is, like I said, a 28 years experience, almost 3 decades. I think they saw in me the ability to lead a team. And that came with my previous experiences, and how against all odds in some of my organizations I have sort of brought about a change and leadership positions of those brands. I think they saw in me the ability to listen, which I think is a very, very important trait in a leader. There's a difference in hearing, and there's a difference in listening. They're two different things. And I do believe that being a good listener is a very integral part of any leader in any organization. You've got to listen to the people who are talking to you. I think they saw in me the ability to very clearly communicate the vision. Very important part for any leader is to communicate clearly, because whatever you want to do cannot be just in your head. You have to be able to communicate to your core team, and you have to have a process in place which sort of drives that communication right to the bottom. Everybody in the organization needs to be signing up for that goal together. It's not a bunch of 10 people in a boardroom making decisions. So, that communication is very important. And I just think they thought, they saw in me that I'm quite a personable person. I'm affable. I think I get along with people, and I bring that sense of optimism and positivity in any situation.
Plus the networking, which has been immense over the decades.
Yes, that has been some hard work, but
a lot of hard work, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Now, I'm getting good feedback from within the organization about your leadership style. What is it, your leadership style?
My leadership style is, so I'm not a micromanager, but I need to know what's happening. I empower people to do things. If I have hired a certain resource, or my direct report is has been given a direction to achieve a goal, then I need to trust that individual to deliver that. And that level of trust is very important in your leadership team, because if both of us are questioning each other's existence, there is a fundamental issue in the structure. So once I trust a person, I need to trust that person first. But once I do, then I let them go and rule the world. And I will do whatever it takes in my capacity and capability to be able to support him or her in that journey.
You get into monitoring from time to time, or you let the person achieve the objective?
No, there has to be some forms of sort of checks and balances, a make-a-checker process of sorts, which gets you. So, for example, I definitely have my weekly meetings with my leadership team. That's mandatory for all of us. Not only it's important for me and them, but it is important for everybody. Because sometimes what happens, it's a simple process, but if you don't bring everybody together on the same page, your left arm won't know what the right arm is doing, and that's disaster. So if you get everybody in a room, and I'm sure every organization does that, is that you have your weekly meetings with your leadership team where everybody gets to know what's happening and you align to the goals which you have set, and then you see how you're progressing. I think that's a very critical, a very simple process, but very effective for sure.
What are the challenges? What are the challenges you face as a CEO? Holding a mobile in one hand and mic in the other.
That's how the audiences are moving there, right?
Yeah. I've got my questions out here.
Sorry, your question?
The challenges you face as a CEO.
Challenges I face. Like we spoke about, I think the industry is going through a big challenge right now, with so many ambiguities out there in terms of our overall existence of the business. But couple of things which I think somebody did sort of mention earlier. One of the challenges which I face is to deal with these ambiguous situation is the right talent. There is a limited pool of talent in this industry, right? And there are limited opportunities as well. So what happens is that you either get experience or you get that agile thinking attitude. To get a combination of both is very difficult. And to me, that becomes a big challenge, so to speak, because we need to move with the times. And whilst there are some talented folks out there, the demand and supply ratio is unfortunately the other way around. And that to me becomes one of the, and like I said, a forum like these are definitely going to be important to have such conversations, so you're able to bring more talent, relevant talent to organizations. So that would be one of the challenges. Of course, there are many other, to be able to keep put to the pace of what is changing, and and basically align to and being able to deliver to what the consumer needs are. So you just sort of, you listen to the consumer and deliver to what they are looking for. So I think a combination of these would be my...
So how we, listen to the consumer. You need a learning organization. What are you doing to create that learning organization internally? Or are there best practices in place already? Could you improve on those?
Yes, there are. It's been not even 3 months since I've been in the organization. So my first 100 days are not over. In fact, I'm thankful to Rekha Koshi. She had sent me a book, right? Her book, which is titled "You're the Boss. What's Next." Very, very important insights came out of that book, which I recommend highly to anybody who is either taking up a business head role or a division head role or a department head role. Extremely insights, fabulous insights in that book. So I took a lot of learnings out of people's experiences globally. And then when I sort of walked into Discovery and spent some time in India and globally observing and absorbing what is happening, I was so super impressed with what the best practices of Discovery Global are. And HR, in my view, is top of the notch. And I've spent time with multiple multinational organizations in my 30 odd years. But this, by far...
Tell us more about those best practices.
I think first thing, and it's a personal experience really, I've been in various organizations, and when I sort of came on board, I don't think so I have ever, and I know enough friends in the industry, and I don't know whether anyone would vouch for this, but Discovery's onboarding process was spot on. That is so important for any organization. When you bring a new person on board, he or she is clueless. There is a perception about the company and the people you go in with. But and it's going to be a while, at least a couple of months before you really absorb and, experience the organization and the culture. But if you have a system which sort of does that in like 2 weeks flat, it's outstanding. And I think the onboarding process which was given to me when I came on board it was so specific. It was by individuals, by departments, by regions, by global, focus teams. It's just within 2 weeks, I got such a fantastic understanding of the whole organization that is like money can't buy kind of experience. And that was not only just because it was me or the business head, but that happens to everybody who comes in the organization.
So Discovery excels at onboarding.
Onboarding,
what else?
Yeah. And I think it's just there is a lot of so the department, for example, in HR is not even called HR. It's called people and culture. That's a fundamental change and shift which happened in the organization maybe a year ago. And that means that your focus is people and culture. And that is the core of this organization. So there are so many programs Discovery brings to the table, where it is global exchange programs, lot of identifying the key talent and getting them to go in different development programs, personal development, professional development. There are a lot of programs which are created, which are not only local, but regionally and then internationally. And not only just by department, but also cross-departmental experiences and exposures. It's huge. Like, everybody in the company sort of feels so, elated to be part of this organization. And this can't just happen by paying good money. Let me assure you.
I remember Vikram got injured and he was he was working from home. Marketing and
lot
sales
of support,
head,
lot of support we give, whether it's working from home, whether it's giving paternal leave, whether it's giving maternal
Paternal
leaves,
and maternal.
paternal and maternal, taking care of their medical, their family support system which we have. It's very, very, it's people and culture is the core. And that to me is such a beautiful thing to have in any organization, because like we said, any organization success is based on people, and if you don't have them at the center of the being.
So, but does it also mean personalization, like Thomas was saying, Abe was saying earlier, that you don't give him incentives based on money, but give him incentive based on his interest. Like if there's a guy who's trekking, you give him a trekking holiday.
No, I mean, no, not specifically.
Really.
I think it's not about just incentivizing. There are, there are incentives, of
Forget
course,
the incentive,
people
reward,
have.
a reward.
But you go beyond the, like I said, financial gains. These are the things, and which is why, like I was anecdotally talking to somebody, and, Discovery went through a bit of a rough phase last couple of years, but not too many people left. And why? And I was intrigued to know, like, when your organization is going through a bit of a rough patch, there is a sense of uncertainty and you don't know where it's going to go, because fundamentally the organization, and these are the anecdotal explanations some people gave me, this is that, we love Discovery. We love the brand, we love the company, we love what they do for us as individuals, as employees. And even though there was a sense of uncertainty for a while in the organization, it just kept the people together.
Yeah, but you also took harsh decisions like laying off people for Discovery, Jeet.
Yeah, that's part
that was
of
tough decisions too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of every. That's a life cycle of any. You win some, you have to take big swings. Some you win some, you lose some, and that's. They're not the first company who's done that. So they're I can give you many examples, and I've been party to many myself.
But that, I believe it was managed sensitively rather than in a harsh
and
manner.
that's very important, because it's good and bad is part of everyone's life, but it's how you deal with the bad makes the whole experience good. So that's really where it is critical, and I think Discovery is at the bedrock of that sensitivity and the sensitization we need to do with people at the center.
Fantastic questions to Megha. I've been hogging the conversations all morning. I need other points of questioning coming across. I'm glad to see many hands at this stage. Please share the mic with them. Identify yourself and yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shreya Gunecha and I'm from Wellington Institute of Management. My question to you, ma'am, is I read in an article that Discovery is coming up with Discovery Plus in 2020. So as I had done my research, there's a lot of clutter in Indian market when it comes to OTT platforms. Like if I want to watch Dynasty, I know it is available on Netflix. If Made in Heaven, it is available on Amazon Prime. So what is the key strategy that Discovery Plus holds in mind when it is about to roll in the market?
All right. Thanks, Shreya. So I'm a big believer in we bringing a very unique proposition which doesn't exist in the country today at all. And the reason why I say with such conviction are two or three. One, there is what is out there, about 30, 35 OTT players in the market. What is out there is primarily in the scripted entertainment space. All of them, yeah? So there's a lot of them, but they're all fighting the scripted entertainment war, right? We will bring that proposition, which we will be the only real life entertainment proposition in the market, one. Number two, we had a recent partnership with Daily Hunt, which you might have been aware of. Within 3 months of that partnership, we brought in about 400 million views and 7 million monthly average users. And a lot of that content consumption was happening from regional consumption, regional play. So we are one of the leading players with languaging. We will have 8 languages content, which no other real life entertainment platform has. So whether it's Hindi, English, of course, there's Tamil, Telugu, Bengali, and we're going to be launching Marathi, Kannada, and Malayalam. Third, we come from a repository, and to give you some statistics here, of 300,000 hours of content. You cannot beat that. 300,000 hours. And we add to that 8,000 hours every year. So when
Very premium content.
and
Extremely
amazing
premium.
content, yeah. So when you have that, this is the kind of content other organizations will take years and millions of dollars to make. This content comes to us. And what I believe is that the Daily Hunt partnership was a great indicator for us, because we brought in content which is not in the long form but short form, because that's really where the audiences are watching. They don't have the time to sit and watch long form content on digital platforms. So it's about short form. And we have already initiated that through Daily Hunt, and there'll be more such coming. And our content lineup and the alignment we have, we have Scripps content, which we acquired last year. So huge content coming from Scripps Network. We have a BBC partnership, which was recently announced, and there'll be the BBC content coming along. And there are many more. I mean, I can go on and on about it.
Let's get on to the HR side.
Yeah.
This is more strategy. You have any HR questions, or is it about strategy now? I want HR questions.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, welcome.
We have just 2 questions and then we are wrapping up. I know the next panel is getting delayed.
Okay, so hi, I'm Zeenat. I'm heading HR for Condé Nast India. And it's lovely to be in the forum where you've managed to mix media with HR. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I am personally coming from a consulting background. So you've raised a point about your organization having a people and culture as HR. My question is, what is the culture of your organization, and what are the steps that you are taking to ensure that it continues? Any processes, steps, policies, etc. That's it.
I think to some extent I did answer that to Anil earlier, but just to reiterate, the culture of Discovery is about inclusiveness. It's about diversity. It's about empowering people. It's about creating an environment of trust and comfort within the employees, and making them, believe that we care. And I don't intend to change any of that, because why change something which ain't broken? So, I do intend to only enhance that thinking across the country and the region, because I think that's a very strong proposition we have from a people and culture point of view. If there is any ways to better it, I do definitely intend doing it.
Last question. You had a question that's been answered. And then we are wrapping up, Sanat. I hope that was answered for you. Or you can take off, you can have a conversation offline.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Abhiruchi, and I'm also from Wellington Institute of Management. Earlier, you said that there were men who helped us to achieve and go into higher positions. So, like us girls starting new careers or women, what are the things that we can do to change this discrimination that is happening, that is there in this industry?
Great question. What I was referring to was actually how a lot of the change which took place fundamentally to get women in CXO levels was in actually a banking and finance industry. I was saying that we don't have enough women CXO level positions in the broadcasting industry, and we need to have more. But I think I'll give you that answer in as short way as possible, because this can be a long conversation. But I'll give you personally from my experience, because I have come from the same industry. I joined, Star when I was as a sales coordinator.
Yeah, she was an embassy center at
Yeah,
that stage,
yeah.
in Nariman Point.
Yeah, that was, no, actually, Maker Chamber was my first office, yeah. So, in fact, I am on record probably the second employee of Star in India. And I always joke that I came in even before Murdoch did, so, yeah. So, from then to here, this journey has been absolutely amazing and gratifying. But I think there are 2-3 things which I would urge all the women in the media industry to sort of keep in mind. One is, I have always believed in my own conviction. I have believed in myself, okay? Lot of times women give up because they start self-doubting. That's the biggest problem with women. They self-doubt. And it's very easy for them to sort of get waylaid into somebody telling them they can't do this, okay? Simple thing. It's a very perceived thing, like Anil also alluded to, that women are only in sales and marketing and content. Yeah, but finance, for example, is not an easy thing which comes to women. And I'm a classic example. I do acknowledge that I'm not a finance whiz kid. So how do you deal with such situations? One is that, acknowledge your weaknesses, but play to your strengths. There's no point fighting something which is, is something which is going to be a harder win. So acknowledge your weaknesses, but play to your strengths. Ask for more. Half the time women get scared in asking. They feel that, oh my God, how will I ask? I can't ask. It's just naturally a cultural thing. They don't really ask. Bindas ask, yeah. If you believe that this is what you love and this is you deserve, and then ask it. No, what's there? At best they will say no, but at least it won't eat your head up and say like, I wish if I had asked, maybe you could have got what you wanted. Please ask. Don't be shy. And the other thing is that, try to be see the glass half full, right? And again, from my personal experience, shit will happen, but you can't control that, right? You can't control what is happening around you. But what you can control is yourself. You can have a better reaction to it, and you can have that conviction and say, okay, fine, I will deal with this the way it is. Please do that. So see a positive situation in every challenging and setup you have, and don't be shy of asking. Just go out there and believe in yourself, because it's not something which is, somebody out there, some cynic out there will say, yeah, it's easier said than done, to say all these things on a panel and all of that. But I've done it. And if I can do it, and we can have chat offline of the kind of, against all odds I have grown. I went through my downs in careers when I became pregnant, for example. When I became a mother, it was assumed that as a mother, I won't be able to deliver because I need to be spending more time with my children. That's an assumption made by a man, of course. So, these things you have to overcome yourself, and you have to have a positive conviction, because there's nothing else better than having a positive attitude in life.
Wow. You can't top that. All respect to you, Megha. All respect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.